Life is so fragile, and we're constantly reminded just how fragile life can be, especially when we or a loved one is told we have cancer. Cancer survivor myself, I can tell you, we still feel very alone in this journey.
There's a study that's been showing that patients who are socially isolated have a worse prognosis, have a worse outcome than patients who are socially interconnected.
Buddies for Life is a non-profit cancer support group for those whose life has been impacted by cancer. We'll match you with the perfect buddy. Humor, hope, heart, and hugs.
Humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love.
We're offering you a free membership, so please sign up today. Share this with your friends and family, and support this community in every way you can. No one should face cancer alone.
I am a chemo buddy for life.
We are a buddies network.
No one does cancer alone.
Be a buddy.
And we are all here for you as a community of love.
We are chemo buddies for life.
And if you've heard 3 words, you have cancer, for yourself or someone else, you belong with us at Chemo Buddies for Life.
Healing through connections.
Haiti borders with the Dominican.
Her name is Serena Buffalino. They call her Mrs. B, and her class always begins with a pledge.
Something local, something global. Haiti.
They're words that carry weight here. Helping yourself means helping others, giving back, here and a world away in Haiti.
And nobody's helping them, except for people like us.
It was through her the class learned of Haiti, of the nearly 1 million orphans, many with no school, no support, no Mrs. B in their lives.
They could not wrap their head around that.
Mrs. B's students are among Toronto's most at risk. Their challenges vary from emotional and behavioral difficulties to learning disabilities. Their trauma is so severe they can't function in a regular school setting, and we aren't allowed to show most of their classmates.
For most of the kids, most of society has turned them away. And in this classroom, they're accepted. They're accepted no matter what for who they are.
Take Yolanda. She came here last year so burdened and withdrawn, she would often fall silent, sometimes for days on end. It was, she says, Mrs. B's patience, her quiet encouragement, that saved her.
She actually saves people's lives from dangers.
And perhaps that's why these marginalized kids feel such a kinship with the orphans of Haiti, and why they were moved to act.
And so when Yolanda and Jackie and Patrick said, well, Miss B, we need to build them a school.
Build a school, no easy task. They started out raising money. They sold samosas, washed cars, screened movies, you name it. And in just a few months, this little class raised $20,000. So much, it's not just a 1-room schoolhouse they can build, but a full 3-story school. And so Mrs. B set off on a journey she'd dreamed of, up into the dusty mountains above Port-au-Prince to a town called Canaan. It's home to thousands of earthquake refugees who live with no running water, no electricity, and no school, until now. The first step was a temporary school. It's up and running. 53 students already in uniform. The permanent school for 250 is growing from its foundations.
It makes me want to cry because she just makes me feel so awed, and I'm very proud of her.
All of this because of a handful of students back in Canada. And Mrs. B, the teacher who believed in them.
These are for you.
At another fundraiser, a special tribute to the students, accepted by someone who, without Mrs. B, might not be here.
They believe in me and I believe in them, and together we not only change our lives, but we change the world around us.
For inspiring great things and seeing the potential in everyone, Serena Buffalino is this week's Everyday Hero.
Hello, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I don't know, maybe it's something I was setting on my computer. It feels like it's not loud. So let me put in my earbuds. Maybe that will help.
That one. Well, while you're doing the earplugs, the other the BBs,
you can introduce yourself.
Welcome, 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 everybody, to the Time to Shine Happiness Show with the BBs, Barbara Beckley and Barbara Ellison. Wonderful one. You know, this is my favorite show of the week. And I'm saying that because myself and my other half is on this show.
And to think you didn't want to do it at the beginning.
I know. See, you remind me every time you say that, I'd be like, boy, whew, I'm so glad that I was I changed my mind. Right. This is becoming one of the best. I mean, one of just spectacular. Out of the shows that I do, people that I interview and everything, panel discussion, all that kind of stuff I do. I love this show because I get to share it with a wonderful lady that's on the other side of me. And we just have fun. And, you know, just myself real quickly, my name is Barbara Beckley, and I am the CEO and founder of the Diamond Factor. And what I do basically is I first help people, especially women, understand their purpose, understand who they are, just dig a little bit deeper to make sure that they're doing what they need to do on this earth before, you know, that expiration date, as I say. You know, it's like you're born, you know, you got the two, and then in the middle, that middle
is the dash.
What are you doing? Yeah, that's that dash. You want to make sure that dash is very important. So once they do that purpose, then we got to take that dash, that purpose, and let it shine to the world. And I help by helping people get on interviews, visibility, one-on-ones, TV streaming shows like this, and just have them shine in the world as a diamond would shine. So that's me, and my partner in crime here, Ms. Barbara Ellis.
Yeah, and it's just I think we all have what we want to do, and when that comes out, and for me, it started with somebody asking me a question, Barbara, what do you want? And I said, I just want people to be happy. And then I have no idea where I now know that was God just putting that on my heart. That I just wanted people to be happy. But since that moment, it has colored everything that I've done. And so now I'm on a mission to make happiness the norm rather than the exception.
Yes.
And because I truly believe that we all deserve and want to live a happy, healthy, financially free, abundant life. Mm-hmm. In that happiness, though, is we want to have impact. We need to have influence, but we also need to earn income.
Yes.
And so I have absolutely been blessed just even recently with being able to combine two of my greatest loves. My first love is the wellness industry. I have been in wellness for 40 years because of the impact that wellness products had for myself on my own life and my own well-being. I feel better now at 70 than I did at 40. Anyways, so right now I help people to get to be that well-toned, full of energy, you know, no nonsense kind of person, because they're going to start feeling better with our wellness products, with our wellness formulations. My other love is personality science. I love teaching people how to connect with each other, because, you know, we all have our own personality, and do you know somebody that you don't quite get along with and you can't quite figure out why? Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I help people to do. And one of the ways that I do it is that I help speakers so that they can, and entrepreneurs to tweak their messaging so that they can reach more of their audience. And so when you can reach more of their audience, reach more of your audience through Barb's stuff, then you're going to connect with more of them and you're going to earn more income, because you're going to be connecting. You're doing the steps that Barb shares with you. And she has some great steps of what to do, which I've put into practice, which is helping. It puts out the things that that we can do to even do that even more. And that's why coming together on this show has just been absolutely. And I mean, I tease her all the time about the fact that I had to, number one, convince her to do it. Barb, I'm not going to do it by myself, just because I know that's part of my personality code, is I like to be part of a team, and I know it. And Barb, I want to be part of a team. And she was the first person that I thought of that I would like to have as like a co-host. And she was like, really? No, Barb. No, really? No. It's all about you. And it's like, yeah, no, then, and I think the final thing that I said to her was, Barb, if it's all about me, then this is what I need. I want to have a co-host.
And you said that too. You put your foot down.
But you have to tell the rest of it, though.
You put your foot down, lady. You did. You were like, You said, no, I'm a nurturer. You know that, Barbara. You even told me, you said, my code. And I like to, nurture. I like to be with people. And I said, okay. So then I was thinking to myself, I said, well, you know what? She don't know this, but I'm going to just easily just move out the way. I'll come on a few shows and then I'll just kind of just scoot out, and she'll never know that I'm leaving, like the back door, or I was stage left, as they say, or whatever. No. That didn't help. That didn't. Now, there were a couple of times I had to do that just because I was, work and some things popped up.
Right.
But I felt myself when I missed, a few times, I'm like, oh no, this is not feeling good. I said, either I got to make adjustments with time or something has to happen. I need to be on the show. So then all of a sudden I'm just like saying to myself, no, I can't miss. I was to the point where I was going to leave, to the point where I like, no, don't shut the door on me. Keep me in. And
it has been a great collaboration, which is everything that we talked about, but part of that is you had to change your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what our guest coming on today is, a mindset guy. And okay, I'm going to tell. He might not be here yet, but I'll say it again. Anyways, I met him through my other show with Jason Tracy and the Everyday Riches show. And so he has done what's called the R2R2R. And being a show host that tries to be prepared, I said, I better look up what it is, because I have no idea. Well, it's an endurance race where they run from the south rim of the Grand Canyon, across the Grand Canyon, up to the rim and back again. No concept. Anyway, so he is now, one of the things he's going to talk about is that he's preparing to do it now, do it again.
Oh my God.
And just the mindset that goes into that. And so I said to him, you know what? I have no concept of doing that. Absolutely not. I said, I'm going to just stand on the bragging rights of knowing that I know someone who has actually done it. So that's it. I'm out here to say I'm going to do this.
And now that I'm meeting him, hopefully I'm meeting him today, I'm going to do the same bragging rights. I don't think I'm going to do the same bragging rights.
But anyways, one of the things for this week, because part of it is mindset. But one of the things that I've been researching, I've been doing some money things. Just with at my church, they did Dave Ramsey financial piece. One of the things that I found out this week is that 45% of people in Americans don't have $1,000 in savings. 78% of them are living paycheck to paycheck, and that only 36% of Americans have money set aside for retirement. So I'm here to share with you, start a business. Start a business. It is a tax deduction, and no matter what you do, no matter what kind of a business that you want to do, pick something that you like. What do you like to do? What is something that you just find that other people come to you and say, how do you do that? How did you learn how to do that? Turn it into a business. turn it into a business because it's a tax deduction. And so many, the benefits of having a home-based business are immense. And I think right now it's like every 13 seconds somewhere in the world, somebody starts a home-based business.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's where mindset comes in, which is what this is my roundabout way of getting to mindset. If you think you can, or you think you can't, you're right. And that's from Henry Ford. If you think you can do something, or if you think you can't do something, you're right. The thing is that you can change the can't to can. And it's all right up here.
I mean, I'm thinking can't. Okay.
You can change that I can't do that. How could I? I'm too old to start a business. Oh, I'm too busy to start a business. I don't have any money to start a business. Whatever that can't is, you can turn it around to saying, well, why can't I?
I can't, yeah.
And that's where your mindset comes in. And that's one of the things that I'm working on at 71 years old is that I am a senior.
Yeah, I'm about to say
I am a successful, energetic, no nonsense, inspired, outrageous rebel looking for her next adventure.
And she is a rebel. I mean, don't mean to cut you off, lady, but you are truly an awesome rebel. I told you, I see you. I be watching you on Facebook. I'm loving when you're on the boat and then you're behind the motorcycle with your friend and just letting when you got your little hat on, and you look like, I was like, look at this lady. Look at this lady. I said, did you have like a leather? I don't know. I was
leather jacket on.
A leather jacket too.
The leather vest.
Leather vest. Got the head on, just, you looking like, okay, with some angels or something, all those old movies. Well, they're the new ones too with the motorcycle crew and stuff. I mean, that's what I've been thinking about you like that. I was like, Barbara is just awesome. She's just, and you're like, I'm just living the life. And that's what we should do. We should do.
There's no reason why we can't. The thing is that get your health in order. And if you have a health challenge, hey, let me know. Plug there.
That's why we're going to talk.
If you have a business that needs some help with getting out there in social media, call Barb. She's got the way for you to get it out there. Like some of the things that she has shared with me over the time, it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, a little tweaking. Yeah,
that makes sense. Even just this week, she gave us a few little tips of things to get out there. Absolutely. There's always a way. And if you are thinking that you can't do it yourself, but you want to, reach out to us. We'll share with you. I mean, we started with one show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I started doing little 50-second clips on Instagram. And now look at this. We have no problem coming onto the show and talking about the things that we're doing. So that comes back to find something that you really enjoy doing.
Yes. And Barbara, see, now I had to put you up there now. The pedestal is there. I mean, I can't keep up with your shows, lady. I was like, I'm thinking me and my little, my TV streaming for the whole week. Okay, good. Maybe some one-on-one. I look at Barbara. She's a show over here, show over there. She's doing some other. I was like, look at this lady. I said, she has a whole empire of shows. I'm loving it. Loving it.
It's just getting exposure. And the thing is, though, these days, plus there's so many, if you physically don't want to be in front of the camera, there are so many ways to get around not being on camera.
Yes. It used to be
all of those, like the things that Mary Nunnally does, give her a little plug, those cartoon things, you see them all over YouTube. These little characters, and you become your character.
Yeah.
And you can get them, but they look so real. Do that.
Yeah.
And you do the voiceover. You do the voice. A friend of mine does voiceover. Wonderful.
And then you have the podcast where people, they just, interview and everything, and it's all just auto. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just amazing of the opportunities out there. And right now, people, I'm talking to everybody here. Right now, the opportunities are so far past what they ever were.
Mm-hmm.
Like a friend of mine, Regina, is a business. Well, she's on the Monday show. She'll tell you that right now the opportunities in business are the best that it's ever been, ever, because of modern technology. Why not take advantage of it?
Take advantage of it. And I know with this, and I as we always say, because we're in it still, and it's like a revamping of it, of the the pandemic out here. But I think we all are learning, and this is a mindset again, going back to mindset, like you said, Barbara. We're all learning how to be more creative and say, okay, it's there, but we're not going to let that take us and make that our home. Okay, that's not going to be okay. We have it, we're dealing with it, but we're still moving on in our business. We're still moving on in our personal life. We're still doing things that we need to do. We're not using it as an excuse. That's what I'm trying to say. We're just keep it moving. And like I said, through last year when it first hit, it showed me how I could be more creative, because I don't call myself as a creative person. I don't. I can't think of a lot of creative things sometimes. So sometimes that's what I do to ask. Like I go to Barbara or other people and say, hey, can you help me out here? I need some help. I see you're doing this. That's awesome. Can you help me? And there's nothing wrong with that. See, I'm bringing that up too, because you're not going to know everything. You are not going to be the master of everything. And you don't need to be. You need to be.
And when you try to be.
And when you try to be. Thank you. There you go, Barbara. When you try to be, and then it makes it harder for you. You're taking more time. I think I told you about that. I think I was, because me and sales and marketing. So one day I was up for 5 hours to do some kind of marketing thing. And then I called a friend of mine that does it. She did it in 30 minutes. She said, Barbara, why'd you call me yesterday?
Yeah, exactly.
Barbara, I was like, why didn't I call her yesterday? And she did it 30 minutes. Barbara Beckley, 4 hours. Crazy.
Yeah, that's like with me, when I hired my virtual assistant.
Yes, that's good.
Oh, yike. It was like, Barbara, why did you not do this? It is because the stress, number one, the stress of trying to do it all, because you cannot do it all.
You can't.
You can't.
You
so
can't.
And these days you can get a VA for all different. If you only need 5 hours a month, great. If you need 20 hours a month, great. If you need if you want to go big fast, go 100. Give them more hours, and that's the beauty of it. But they know what they're doing, and I loved your example. They do in 5 minutes what takes me 2 hours.
And then I'm looking at your face,
and I'm like, duh.
I'm looking at your face like, see, you're like me. It was like a wake-up call, like, what am I doing? I'm always talking about how time is precious and I'm wasting time. It's like, that's not
right.
That's not
I
cool.
mean, if you want to learn how to do, like with me, there have been a couple of times where I have, let's take graphics for a minute.
Okay.
Barbara Beckley she Instagram makes graphics. It takes me a while. But sometimes it was to play, to learn. So if it's something that is fun sort of for you that you might want to learn, okay, play at it. Absolutely. Set aside time to play. Absolutely. Because that has to be part of learning, to creating new neural pathways. Pick something and then set specific time apart to learn it. and to play at it.
Mm-hmm.
So I have done that on Canva. You know me, you know Barb. You and I, we can get caught up in Canva and all of a sudden go, oh yeah, what have I been? I've been on Canva for 4 hours.
the Canva black hole.
Creative. Like I remember on one of my things, I made a little flower arrangement. And I was so pleased with it. And then I realized it had probably taken me 3 hours to do it. But I was playing with it. It was scheduled time for me to play. So let's go back to mindset.
So
play is good for you.
Good for you. I was about to say.
Play. It's good for you. It's not selfish. It's playtime. And so whatever it is that you want to play about, do it. You got it because you got to play.
Yeah, you got to play. I mean, you have to have that time. That's self-care. I've been telling this week, I've been talking about make time in your schedule for self-care. You have to. It's just a must. It's really crucial, and people don't see that. We get so, caught up and, we need to have that play time. We had that time to play in Canva for a little while. If you like doing it, do it. But make sure you just don't do it for 24 hours. You got to go. You're good to go.
And schedule time in between things. Like I have to admit, sometimes I look at my calendar and go, and how am I going to get all this done? Yeah. Well, Barbara, who scheduled all those things?
What'd you say, Barbara? You put it back on you like you did this.
You did this. Let's look at this. And I think it was last week not last week, the week before, I was in Crazy Town. And I got there and I got lost in Crazy Town. And then realized that, okay, Barbara, something has got to give.
Yeah.
You're running yourself ragged.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, all of these are good things. But are they really going to move you forward right now?
And that's the key. That's the key.
So that's the question. Is this going to move you forward today or in the next week? Or is it a distraction?
And if you didn't schedule it for
it's like, okay, yeah, fine. This for this week is a distraction. It's still on the list that I will get to. Although what happens lots of times is you put it on the list and then you think, oh, I'm going to get to that in a couple of months, and you get to it a couple of months down the road and it's totally changed and something newer and better has come along.
Yeah, you're right. And then
that's when you reevaluate
everything. And sometimes before we go to commercial and bring up Mr. Herb, sometimes what happens is you put something on your thing, just to-do list, right? I call it action items.
Yeah.
And then you keep trying to figure out, okay, why do I keep not getting to this, or I keep pushing it or whatever?
Right.
Well, that is because you might be trying to avoid doing it because maybe there's a lot of work that's involved in it, or something that you really like, oh, I really don't want to do. Don't want to admit it, but you got to put on your action items. And it keeps pushing and pushing and pushing because you're trying to avoid that particular that item. I've learned that through myself just a few weeks ago, because it's something that I have to really focus on. It's going to take me a little more time. Barbara, I've been pushing that thing for the last 3 weeks. I said, you know what? This has to get done. It's to the point now that I'm getting calls because it's not getting done. Right. So it's like, okay, Barbara, you got to do it. You got to do it.
It's essential. Yeah. Get it done. The thing is, right, to just do it.
Yeah.
And that's where the just do it comes in. And that's mindset too. Just do it.
Just do it. Just do it.
Just do
it. Just do it. So we're going to just do it and go to commercial, and then we're going to bring on our special guest. Here we go.
I'm so excited for you to hear him.
How about that? Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr.
Hi,
Herb.
Herb. How are you doing?
This is an honor. Nice to meet you.
Oh, thank you, Barbara. Yeah.
I know you got the BBs here, both Barbers. So
Double B's. Yeah.
And we decided that we told upon ourselves that before this we talked about that you had done the R to R to R, and that we have no concept of doing that endurance thing, but both of us are going to take the bragging rights of the fact that we know somebody who has done it.
So there you go. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
So we want to have you share what it is and how you train for it, and why that is, and why you use mindset.
For the down here they call it the R3.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. The American thing of getting things shorter. So instead of R to R to R to R, you just call it the R3.
Yeah, makes sense.
Right? So the mindset behind it. Yeah, the mindset is, just like doing a marathon or anything else that's really long. And I hate to say this, but because the R to R, it's such a bucket list thing that after a while it gets kind of boring down there because you're just like, after whatever, 10, 12, 14 hours, you're done. You've seen enough of the Grand Canyon to say, like, it's no longer like wow. But yeah, it takes a lot of mindset just to keep focused on, keep moving. So.
So I mean, when I first heard
about
it,
like finishing
I couldn't imagine going from the one rim of the Grand Canyon down and across and back again, and to do it in one day.
One day? Really? Wow.
Oh yeah. How long, Herb? How long is the run itself?
If you let's put it this way, Barb. The elite runners, okay, in the world of like ultra running. Okay, now ultra runners are these, like when I was doing it, ultra run is anything more than a marathon. So it's like 30 miles, 50 miles, 60 miles, 100 miles, 200 miles, okay? So the guys who are running like these 100-milers, to them, the rim to rim to rim is like, yeah, I know. It sounds kind of odd, but it's all relative,
No concept.
Awesome.
Right? It's no concept. Like when I first started running, to me, the biggest goal I could do was like a 5K, like a 3-mile thing. And I used to wonder, like, wow, why do people want to even do a marathon? It's got to take all day or something instead of just like, 3 or 4 hours. And I thought, that was your perspective. And then I got to the point where I could run a marathon before breakfast, technically.
Wow.
Get up, go run, and come home. And then the marathon became like a 50-mile race became like, you would think of a 50-mile race as other people think of a 5K race.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense? And so it's all just kind of relative, I mean, think of, what's his name? That famous guy now, Grant Cardone.
Oh, yes.
Cardone,
Grant Cardone. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. At one point in his early career when he was selling cars, I'm sure $100 day to him was like a big day. Like, I made $100 today, right? And now the guy does deals like 100 million.
Yes. You have to start, So I like how you put it. You have to start, small and then you build yourself. You have to build yourself up.
Right.
And that's what we talked about in the first half. Is that start where you are, but just start.
Yeah, somewhere you got to start. And it's like going on to Canva your first time and like, okay, do I use this template or do I use that template? Now what? And then you have all those little choices of background color, fade in, fade out.
Mm-hmm.
Then you just say, I'll skip it. Never mind. Too much. And then you're doing whole flower arrangements, right? Right. So the key is, start somewhere stick with it, and slowly move along, bit by bit by bit, and then all of a sudden, wham! You know, we used to talk to people like, if I'm training you, and I said, we're going to run a marathon, or like in town, we said, I'm going to run from here to the airport, and they would say, I'm not, I can't make it to the airport. I said, okay, just run to that corner traffic light. And you would say, I can run to the corner traffic light. No problem. Right? And then all I have to do is get you to the next traffic light and the next traffic light. And then if you just break it down to little pieces, all of a sudden you're done. Right? But if your brain tries to wrap around the big picture of running all the way to the airport, there's no way. You just kind of go, that's way too much. Right? So just break it.
Herb, I love how you said that. You're so right, because that would be me. Like, you were training me, and you'd be like, okay, Barbara, go run over there to just a curved court over there. And see me, I'm looking at, well, Herb, I know I got, I'm looking at the big picture, but Herb, you want me to run a whole marathon, and I got to run. And you'll probably say, Barbara, I just told you to run just to the corner.
Just over there. Just over to the corner. That's all I want you to do, is run to that corner. And then is once you ran to, say, the second traffic light, doesn't your brain start to change a little bit? And you start to say, wow, I did that one, and I did that one. That wasn't so bad. Maybe I can do one more traffic light, just right. Yeah. And then it's really about your brain starting to change just a little bit. And, like doing the Grand Canyon thing. All you did was, get from the top to the bottom. Okay, you get to the bottom. Done. Okay, now I just got to walk across the bottom. Then, okay, now so it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little stages. But all you do is focus on each little piece at a time, not the whole big picture. Right? It's like graduating from school. Right? Yeah. Just get through week number 1, get to the midterms, then in midterms you get to the finals, then you get to your next year, and then you slowly graduate. Right? Kind of,
And I think that's just because so often that's how, and myself included, I will look at this big thing. I go, and it'll be like, okay, Barbara, quit freaking out. It's just your brain freaking out because you're trying to look at this whole big picture. Okay, Barbara, what is the first step? But for those seconds, but sometimes what happens is, and I do it myself too, I will get so stuck in seeing the big picture that I won't take time to, or give myself the grace to just sit down and stop. And you've heard me say this before, Barb. Just to stop and then just, what's your intuition telling you? Is this big picture something that you're supposed to do? Big question. Am I supposed to be doing this, or is this a distraction? That's been one of my things lately.
Or just to add to that, am I supposed to be doing this, and what am I doing that's making a distraction to get it done? That can happen too, because a lot of times, you might supposed to be doing it, but then you're doing other things that's distracting for where you're supposed to be focusing on. Just like I was saying with Herb earlier, he wants me to get to the corner. I'm trying to get to, the 10-mile thing. And okay, Barbara's body is not even, I'm not prepared to go to the corner that Herb's trying to get me to. So let's work on that, because it's all about what's the, I know Herb's really good at this too, which I need help with, is that, durability or something, to being, being able to just do that is, I know it takes time to build. Yeah,
it does. Yeah, so you covered a couple of different topics there. One of the big things when I did this year-long coaching program with these retired Navy SEALs. Okay, one of it was physical, And I was going to say, like, after doing that stuff, the canyon stuff is like, oh, yeah, whatever. But part of it is really they have a big thing of mental toughness, and part of that is just breaking it down into little tiny pieces. And all we didn't call it goal books, they call it chunk it down, break it down. And it's like that little go to the street corner, but then you add a little bit of focus. All I'm doing is getting to that street corner. All the other stuff, really doesn't matter. Whether I'm going to make it to that 10-mile mark or whether I'm going to make it to that mark, that doesn't matter. All I'm doing is getting to this point right now. If that makes sense, right? And it does help you get rid of those distractions because you start to focus on where you're going. And, and the other big part of that is going back to that famous thing of why. Right, your purpose, your why. Why am I doing? Why the hell am I doing this thing in the first place? Right? If that doesn't line up with your big picture or anything else, then it's so easy to get distracted. Is that correct, Barb? Distracted or quit or but if it lines up with your big picture, then you can come up with that durability, that resilience, that whatever, because now it lines up with your big picture, right? If it doesn't, that's why I think people, fall off the wagon with their diet, with smoking, with drinking, whatever you want to call it, because they're not lined up. They have this thing over here, but they really don't have a why, and it just kind of, and then they rely on that famous willpower, which research shows you willpower only lasts a couple of days and it's gone. But if you can connect whatever you're doing on your, what was your thing, your action list, your action something, all right, your to-do list, got to get it done. If you can connect that with your why or your purpose, then you're going to get it done.
I like how you said that, Herb, because when you just put in the purpose part of it, that's so important, because if it's really not a purpose that you're really like pushing or believing, it is going to be a struggle. It's going to be a little bit harder because really maybe that's not the why that it's supposed to be. And that's why sometimes now what I do on my action items, as I said earlier, I put on the top in big bold caps. I do this for me because it's a mindset, like you said, and say, okay, purpose. Why are you doing all these little tasks? Why do you need to do these? So then every time I get kind of like, okay, I got to do that task, I look up at the top of that big purpose and say, oh, that's why I'm doing that, because I'm trying to get to that. Yeah.
Right. And that's a quick way to decide. I remember doing this drill a long time ago where they used to call it the most important thing, because we all come up with these to-do lists that are like 20 million things, right? And when they boil it down to, really in a day, you might need 4. I try to make it 3. Anything else above that, it'll go over in the maybe list. But you come up with those 3 things that match your why, your purpose. And I used to be guilty of that thing. I put a lot of things on that list that were kind of cool, like look good. They would keep you busy. You felt like you accomplished something. And at the end of the day, did it move your needle closer to where you're supposed to go? No, but you could check it off and you felt good. I did that. Yeah, I got it done. But it got you no damn closer to the needle than when you started. Right? And we all do that. I think it's kind of a backwards way of procrastinating. You're doing something, but you're still not getting to where you're supposed to go. Right? Mm-hmm. And I would have my clients come in and I would give them their home exercise. This, and this, right? I said, did you do that? Well, I didn't do that, but I went and I did blah, 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 blah. Well, how about did you do that other one that I told you to do? Well, I didn't do that, but I did blah, 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 blah. And they would look at you just like a damn puppy, like I just chewed up your rug, but, And so they were doing a lot of something, right? They were doing a lot of something, but they weren't getting to where they were supposed to be getting, right? Right. And if you two, I don't know about you two, if you've got kids or not, right? It's the same thing, like, honey, go clean up your room. And 20 minutes later, you go look, and they're in there coloring or doing something. The room's still all, And, Daddy, look at this picture that I made. Like, oh, that's wonderful. That's a great picture. Can we put your toys in the toy box? Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Right.
So
and now with a 4-year-old, it's understandable. A 5-year-old, but with a 30-year-old client,
it's another story.
That's a whole nother freaking story. Go to your room and sit in the corner, right?
Maybe we need to go back to, like you said, back to our childhood and say, okay, you need to do this. Get it done. Get it done.
And sometimes you want to do that with clients.
You do.
Just go sit in the corner.
Let's think about this. Right.
It's been 3 weeks and I'm going to do Herbert's thing. I gave you 3 things to do. It's been 3 weeks, but I did this, and this, and there's nothing to do towards what you're trying to do. You wasted time.
Right. and that's where I was 3 weeks ago, where I was in Crazy Town.
Crazy Town, we call it.
And I got lost in Crazy Town, and my GPS forgot to work, because I was going around and around and around. And then finally it was like, Barb, this is silly.
Right.
You are getting nothing done. You're just being busy. And you're getting nothing done. And you can't get so caught up in doing that you forget to work on the part of your being. You have to be the person that you want to do. But once in a while, you've just got to do. And I was just caught up in the craziness and wasn't doing or being, and just.
But going back to that thing of what I learned from one of my books a long time ago, of breaking it down to just 3 different things, maybe 4. And even though that sounds odd and it goes against some of that, whatever crazy town stuff we have. But I have found the more I just focus on those couple things, actually the more productive I get done. It kind of goes, your brain kind of wants to fight it, like you're so used to wanting to be busy. But being busy doesn't necessarily mean being productive.
Yeah, right.
Right? And there's another phrase that the SEALs use a lot. They say, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Right? And it kind of makes sense. You just kind of take your time, get there. And I was thinking about, like, when I was younger and doing construction, right? I'd hop out of the truck, start getting tools out, wanting to go pound, 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 all this stuff. And my boss had been there for a long time, just kind of like walked out, kind of like looked around, and I'm sitting there like a little damn chihuahua going, let's go, And he would just say, all right, calm down. And it was the same. He would make that plan, and all of a sudden we went chop, chop, chop. And things would happen a lot faster and more productively than if we would have followed my method of a lot of what now I'd call busy work. That makes sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So that's what now I understand about the smooth. I'm sorry, just to understand, you said smooth is fast. Now I understand what you mean by that.
Yeah, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Yeah, it took a while to get that. But yeah, now that I understand that concept, my to-do list for the day gets, compared to what it used to be like that, now it's like this. That's it. That's all I want to get done. Yeah. Those things that I need to get done, the rest of it doesn't matter. So,
Yeah, I did the same thing. I went from 10 items a day to 3.
yeah.
It's
yeah,
funny you
perfect.
pick 3, Herb, because I do the same. I picked 3. I said, 3 things. It's 3. And then
It's
going
3.
back to that purpose at the top. Okay, these 3 things supposed to get to up there. Get me up there.
Right. Now, I did a post on LinkedIn one time, and I call it my to-be list. To be. Okay? Because we all have a to-do list.
No.
And I would tell my clients, I want to have a to-be list. And that to-be list is like, number 1, who do I want to be? Right? Who do I want to be? Do I want to be the world's best hiker, the guy, And my personal goal at this moment in my life is to be the best dad possible to my son. Okay? Now, 20 years ago, it might have been the best beer drinking connoisseur that there was, whatever. But now, so when I tell my clients, it's like, okay, that sounds simple, right? But if you break that down, now to be a best dad, that subcategory number 1 means like, all right, what's my job? Do I have a job that I'm able to spend time with my son versus am I a long distance truck driver? Or am I gone 5 days a week? Am I working, whatever, second shift when he's awake, right? All those things start to fit in. And number 2 would be like, say, social life. Okay, if I'm going to be a good dad, now am I hanging out with my friends at the pub? No. Am I going to baseball games with the boys on the weekend? No. I'm taking my son to the playground, right? So all that, underneath that one first goal, there's all those little other goals that dovetail back into that. So it's kind of like, Barb, you were saying your 3 things have to fit into your purpose. And I just kind of changed purpose in my to-be list. So, and then you just keep breaking everything else down. So if your other goal, my second to-be list is to be a top-rated podcaster, like what you guys are doing, right? What fits into that category? Right? What do I have to do to become a top-rated podcaster? Do I have to monetize it? Do I have to meet the right guest? Do I have to get a better camera system? Do I have to... What things will move the needle versus whatever? That makes sense?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Do I have to fix my hair up better? Oh, yeah, wait. All right.
Well, that's a problem. You have to worry about.
So, but that's how I kind of shoot things now. And I'll do it like for my training. Like, say if I was going to do the rim-to-rim hike. I know a guy who's going to do so I did a R3. Okay? I have another friend who's going to do an R5. Right? We go down, up, up again. So it's going to take like 40 some hours of nonstop. Just hiking back and forth. All right? So that's his to be. That's who he wants to be. He wants to be the guy who did the R5. Okay? So now his life is dialed into what? Every weekend he's going to be practicing so many hours a day of hiking up and down. Right? He's not going to the baseball games on the weekend. He's not going out, to the pizza joint, He's not watching Netflix for 20 hours. His to be is to be the guy who does the R5. And that works, right?
Yeah. And you know what? This creates, like everything you're saying too, Herb, it creates the boundaries.
Yeah.
It creates boundaries for you automatically. You have to say, like you said with your son, do I want to be a good dad? Do I go out and, do the beer, trying to drink the beer, or what you were saying with the go out with the friends? Right. But no, if I got to be a good dad, I need to make sure I'm spending quality time with my son, doing things that he liked to do. So, well, that goes out me not going out on the weekend so much. Oh, that stops me from drinking more beer than I thought I was going to do, And then the funny part is boundaries, not just for, being that wonderful dad that I know you are, but then if you stop other things, it might help you with the other purposes that you're trying to do. Like if you're training to do the 3 again, then you can't be drinking all the beer. That's it. you be like, okay, I can't do this anyway. I'm training.
Right. I agree. Right. And then, like, when I quit drinking the first time, actually, not the first time, the last time. And I'll tell people, I used to teach a class at the jail for drug addicts. And I tell them I quit drinking in one night, because I just started doing triathlons. And I was reading some research, and it was telling me about what alcohol does to your system after you work out. And I was like, oh, man, I'm trying to get over here. And of course, the funny thing was, while I'm reading that research article, I had a cold beer in my hand. Right? Because I just worked out for a whole hour. I drank the protein shakes. And I was like, here's my reward, a nice cold beer. And I'm reading this magazine. And I thought, what? And I thought, And I'm sure I probably finished that beer. But the rest of that six-pack just sat in the cabinet for, I don't know, months. Because at that moment, I realized drinking this beer was not going to fit into who I wanted to be. Your why, my purpose, whatever you want to call that. Okay? And it was just like that. Wham. Done. Okay? Now, if you talk to everybody else, it's like, all right, let's cut down, go from like 2 packs a day to 1 pack a day to whatever, right? But it's just like, boom. Once you come up with your to be, and as you say, I never thought that phrase, that your boundaries, that no longer fits inside your circle or whatever you want to be. And then it's easy to quit it. Yeah.
And it's easy to quit, and it was easy to quit for you because how strong your to be was, how strong your why was. So that I always tell people too, when I'm coaching with ladies, I'm like, okay, they'll come to me, like you said, Herb and Barbara too. You probably experience this a lot. They come to you, well, I didn't get that done, I got this done, and then we go another session. Well, I got that done, but I did this done, and then I just say, I'm bold with it. I'm like, okay, how strong is your to be, or how strong is your why, your goal, or whatever word you were using at that day? And they're like, well, I really want to do it. I said, okay, well, you're not showing it, because every time we come here, you have shown me everything else you're doing except that.
Correct.
So you have to ask yourself, and that's another mindset type of thing. Is this really what I really want to do? Is it that strong in my life that, like you just said, you can just stop just like that, whatever you're going to do, because you're trying to get to what you're trying to do.
Right.
And you have to ask that question.
Right. And I use these 2 examples when I teach my class. I worked with this one guy who's an amazing guy. I started working with him when he was 90. And he told me this story of, he got married for the second time in his life when he was like 70, right? Most of us are already dead by 70, but he's getting married for the second time. And here's a guy who grew up obviously in the 40s and 50s, was in the military, and so he grew up as a smoker, right? Anybody who's been in the military, especially the Navy, they tend to all be smokers. That's part of what you do when you're on break, okay? And so all of a sudden, here he is, 70, gets married, his new wife's kids come up to visit, and they say, Mom, we love you, but we're not going to come up and visit because, your new hubby over here smokes, and we're not being around any smokers. Right? And so obviously the guy had 2 choices, right? Say, I'm going to keep smoking. Those damn whatever in-law kids, they can come whenever, whatever. Right? I know what my dad would have said. But this guy, because he loved his new wife, that's his to be, he quit smoking. Right? Bam.
Wow.
Now think about that. You're 70. You've been smoking for what?
A long time.
50 years, 60 years maybe? And all of a sudden you quit because your new wife's kids don't want you to smoke or they won't visit. And you know how much that means to her. I thought, wow, that's pretty damn impressive, isn't it? So it is possible. You just have to come up with the right why.
What motivates you to really do what you're doing? Yeah.
Right.
So he loved her. He wanted, and he stays okay. Let me stop.
Yeah.
Wow.
And once you come up with that, I mean, I had another client, and this is kind of on the other extreme of that, is who would, was like, I would call my average client, showed up, made like probably that much progress, and it wasn't anything bad. And then, at the end of paying a couple months, she just said, oh, just dropped out. And then I ran into her like, I don't know, 3 or 4 months later, and all of a sudden this woman is now smoking hot. Like, dropped this many pounds, everything's looking great. And I went up to, hey, what up? What happened?
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, my high school reunion.
Oh.
So, and to us, that's not like, oh, your high school reunion.
That's her motivator.
But for her, that was it. That pushed her. She lost all this weight, got to the gym every day, worked out, and complete difference, Wow. And that works for her. Whatever works for each person, who knows what it is,
Yeah, it could be. Now, her was the family. I mean, the high school reunion. Some people, if we're talking about weight or whatever, it might be, a shock with the doctor one day, and he's like, by the way, it looks like you went from borderline to diabetic, so now you're diabetic.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes that change. Okay, I got to change this. I can't eat this no more. I can't do this. I can't do that. Because some people feel like once you're diabetic, you're always a diabetic, and that's not true. You can change that just by doing things. And Barbara knows too, with all the health stuff that she does too. You can change it like that. But some people think that's a death, like, oh well, there's my death, and I'm gonna be a diabetic forever. No, you're not. You don't have to be a diabetic forever. It's up to you how you change it.
Right, especially type 2 diabetes. Right. Type 1 tends to be that viral where your body just starts shutting down. Type 2 is the acquired, the adult onset. And that one is so manageable, changeable. I mean, I had clients that would go out for just a little walk, something very simple. And their blood sugar, it would drop like 40 points. Right? Oh, look at that. Right? Because you do the little finger thing before and finger thing after. Look at that, 40 points, 40 points. We can drop it. And they're like, well, I can just go on the pump. I don't have to worry about all this stuff. Right? And that all depends on the person. And other people will take that thing from the doc as that big wake-up call. They'll change their lifestyle, change their diet, and bingo. And they're like, I've had one client like that. It's like, I don't want to go on medication. I'm willing to change. And he started getting up early. First time ever. Get up early, go work out. Yeah. So it all depends, Yeah. Wow. We all have that wake up call. I remember when I was in high school, I was working at the nursing homes back then, and you'd see guys in their wheelchairs smoking still, diabetic smokers, and they've already lost 1 foot. They're gonna, and they're not changing.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Well, Herb, I know this is
I know.
Like, I know time is of the essence, and we.
Oh my God! Look at that! It's only 12 o'clock.
I mean, this is good. I'm loving it, and I know the viewers are loving it too, and asking questions and saying thank you so much for talking about mindset and basically your goals and what you're trying to do. So Herb, we always ask, first of all, let people know how they can contact you. And then leave something, if you can leave something for the listeners, just something that they can think of and, like a moment of, oh, okay, thank you, Herb, for that.
Interesting. I would say the easiest way to touch me is, I don't know if you guys can put it on your screen, is my LinkedIn handle. Or I could give you, I don't know, email on there. I can pop that on there. Right.
Okay, I can do
I
that.
know, Barb, you've got my LinkedIn thing up there because since you messaged me the other day. And to think about it, I would tell everybody, I'm sure we all hear that a lot, but it is possible once you put your why to it, And when I first met Barb E versus Barb B, that, I came from a background of drinking beer, smoking cigars, and thought something like running a marathon was stupid, right? What a waste of your time. To all of a sudden doing ultras, and rim to rim type things, Navy SEAL camps. All those things I never ever thought possible, or even why would I even bother doing something like that? So it is possible to make those changes in your life and move forward. So,
So yes,
somebody's at home sitting there thinking, well, I'm already 40 and I'm already overweight and I've never been a runner and blah, blah, blah. That's what I think. Blah, 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 blah. There's another woman you guys should meet that Laura's 60 something and went on to become like a medal winning weightlifter.
Wow, you could do it. See, that's what Barbara we always say.
Same thing. She started in her late 50s, so it's possible that people can do this stuff.
You can do it. So everybody, you see, I put Herb's like LinkedIn information. I know if you want to really contact him in other ways, we can always post that, by this interview and what we did. And we just want to thank you, Herb, for coming on. And we always ask our guests if you're willing to come back, we would love to have you. There's a lot of other things we can basically talk about because you see with the time there's other things like, oh my, this is so good. I'm like, I just want to keep talking, but I know we have to be looking at time. But yeah, Herb, we would love to have you on again.
Why, thank you. Yeah, it'd be wonderful to come back and talk again. And maybe instead of running a damn rim to rim, I'll learn how to use Canva.
Get those flower arrangements going on.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I would much rather go out and run 10 miles than spend an hour on Canva.
That would be good. And then what me and Barbara can do is that we can work Canva and put your picture and show you running. We'll do that part. we can work on. See, it's a collaboration thing.
There we go.
And we're all focused on the same goal. See,
exactly.
Got it. See, it all works out.
How about that? Yeah.
So, Barbara, any other thoughts for you before we sign off today? Wonderful.
It all comes down to what we've all been talking about today. Just do it. If God is nudging you to do something, whether it's run the Grand Canyon or start a business or anything in between, just take that nudge and take one small step towards it.
Okay. I like that little nudge. So everybody, like sometimes I want to do that. So everybody, thank you again. This is Time to Shine Happiness Show with the BBs, Barbara Beckley and Barbara Ellis, with our special, wonderful, amazing guest today, Herb, and he's teaching us basically about that mindset. Just be focused. Like you said, just do it. Just do it. So what we're going to do next week, we'll be back with probably another guest because Barbara always brings on the guest for me. She does all the work. I just sit back and we just talk and have those conversations. And I do appreciate her so much with that. But remember, as we always say, what Barbara always in her mission is, Barbara Ellis' mission is what, Barbara? You want to make happiness the norm in life. It's so easy to do that than always think of the negative. So let's out there today. Let's think of those positives. Put that smile on. It's easier to do that than to put the frown. Takes more work. That said, thanks again, Herb.
You're welcome. You Thank you.
Next Tuesday. Bye.
Okay.
I'm hanging on your every word. The love inside, I feel it burn. I've never felt this way before. I've had a taste, now I want more. So here we are, just you and me. I'm overwhelmed when you touch me. You talk so sweet, I hear the sound. 'Cause when you do,
like, I thought they signed off. Well, I'm back. I'm back because I usually do like either last takeaways or something that's coming up. So I'm doing just a little bit of both here. First, again, I want to thank my wonderful co-host, Mrs. Barbara Ellis. Can you just give her a yay? Love that lady always. And then Herb, I got a new friend. See, I love when she brings she just don't know this. It's a secret. Is anybody listening? It's a secret. When she brings on the guests, I get new friends. So Herb, thank you so much for coming on. I wish I was close to you or near you because I need your training. I really do. You know, it's funny. I was just thinking, I always thought about not doing like the big marathons or whatever, but just being able to do, and I know this sounds bad, just being able to walk 8 blocks. Just being able to walk 8 blocks. So, you know, even though Herb's not close to me and I can't get that, one-on-one training, well, we could do Zoom, there's ways of doing it. But I'm thinking, just like he just said, he kind of started me when he said, just go to the corner. Just go to the corner. And I'm like, you know what, Herb, you're right. See, sometimes it takes others. And that's why it's so important to hire coaches, get coaches and help people, people that you can collaborate with because they do the reminders. They're the accountability people. That's what I say. So, in my mind, I'm like, I can't get nowhere. And he just said it real simply. Just go to the corner. And then you go to the next corner. 2 corners. Then you go to the next corner. 3 corners. Now, it might take somebody 1 or 2 days to get to that second corner. It might take me 5 days to get to that second corner. But guess what? At least I'm trying to get to the corner. That's the key. That's the key. And that's in life. I always tell people there's a race that we run. We hear this all the time, right? You run a race of life. You might crawl. You might scoot up a little bit. You might jump. You might run fast. You might just walk a little bit, but you're in the race. I always tell people when you're on the sidelines and you're just standing there watching us do it, that's not it. Get into the race. And that's what, basically what we were saying today and Herb was saying, just get into that race. Do the small steps. No, if no one's like watching you taking this little pad and saying, okay, Barbara, you get a F+ because you just walked 2 little steps. No, make sure, don't worry about what other people say. It's about you. It's about you getting to the next level. And I want to go into that regarding finances. Now, Barbara brought up something a little while ago about finances and really working on that. And you probably don't know this, but I'm about to tell you, 95, and this is a study, a statistic for women. I'm talking about women now. 95% of women are not ready for retirement. 95%. That's a huge number. I mean, huge. That's easy. You're really like 95%. Are you sure about maybe no, it's 95%. And a study was taken. And myself and another lady business partner of mine, her name is Lawana Bradford. We are co-founders of Celebrate You. It's another organization in Facebook that we have. It's been for 3 years now. Every year, this is our 3rd annual, we're going to be doing a women's financial wellness boot camp. We do it every year in October 9th from 9 o'clock to 1 Eastern time. And it's boot camp. We have 6 wonderful, spectacular women talking about credit, insurance, mindset, talking about real estate, anything that has to do with financial wealth. Women do not like, we can talk about our hair, our nails, what somebody did last week, our business. We can talk about all that. But when it comes to finances, for some odd reason, women do not like to talk about it too much. And then they try to figure out, well, why am my business not moving, or why the numbers don't look right, or, my husband, he told me I need to do this. I never did it because I was too busy doing that. We need to have those conversations. We did have those boardroom conversations like the men do. Just being honest. Men, they strive in that. A lot of them do. And us as women, And I'm not saying all of us, but 95% is a huge percentage. So we want to make sure that we understand. And it doesn't hurt to say, you know what? I don't understand. I don't understand about stocks and bonds. How does that work? Or what kind of market that they say that I should be doing in order to increase my ROI? I mean, that's kind of things that you need to know. You don't know that. If you don't know, you don't know it. Just like Barbara Ellis always say, don't know what you don't know. Well, you know what? You can find out. And other people, other women that we're bringing to the table for this Woman Financial Wellness Boot Camp could help you, could tell you, to tell you, and nothing's wrong with saying, I don't know, and I'm not there, and my money's low, or I'm in debt. I mean, okay, you're in debt. Let's fix it. Why sit there and procrastinate, especially on something like that? You don't want to be up in age and you're trying to figure out, okay, where do I supposed to stay? Where am I supposed to live? Because you didn't save the money. You didn't ask the question, and you didn't empower yourself to say, I need to have those conversations. So we do this every year we strictly do this because we know that it's a need. It's a big need. So it's our third annual. We're really excited about it. We're getting ready for it now. I'm going to have the link next time around so you can sign up. And there's a promo code that you can put in so you can, guess what? We are already starting you on financial wellness so you can save money towards going to the Financial Wellness Boot Camp. So with that, I'm going to make sure that you get that information. Again, it's all about mindset. It's not about money's evil. People kill. My mother used to tell me that all the time. Money's evil. Money's evil. And I'm like, I used to always say, well, why does she keep telling me money's evil? What is it going to do? Just I'm going to be asleep one day. It's going, I'm evil. No, she had that in my mind. That was a mindset she was put in my mind. And then money is not evil. It's what you do, how you do it, where you place your money, what you're going to do about it. That's the part that you have to make sure that you're doing the right way. And if you don't, then yeah, it could be evil because now you're doing it in a way where now you're getting debt, you're owing everybody. I mean, there's a lot of things can happen if you don't strategically work it the right way. It's not the money. It's not the piece of paper. It's not the debit card. It's our mind. So make sure, sign up for it. Like I said, I'll be talking about it all this week on the Diamond Factor show here, because we really want to make sure, like Barbara always says, we want to make happiness the norm. And one thing about being happy is when you feel right in your pocketbook. That's another thing. When you feel like I got my money together, I'm investing in some things, it makes you feel good. It does put that smile on your face a little bit more than what you had before. So with that, everybody, wonderful, wonderful show today. We will be back tomorrow with Mr. Barry B. Mixon. He will be coming on the Gem Hunter stories. And he's always full of those stories talking about value between gems. I'm telling you, I told Barry, I said, I should have had you when I was in high school with history. He makes it so fun. I would have probably gotten A+++++ after that. But please be here tomorrow, same time, same station, 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, all the other time zones. I always tell people, please figure it out. I can't do them all. I can't do them all. So with that, we will see you tomorrow. And smile, smile, make happiness the norm.